We are always tracking for success, courtesy of MyFitnessPal. And no easy looks beyond the arc. Well, in the first half, they did a great job. However, Cleveland, after going 4 straight games of hitting 20 straight 23s, they hit 18 tonight, Fezzi, so they didn't really slow that down, the Warriors, that is.
Well, Bonte, that is the #1 offense in the NBA for a reason. They average, 122 points a game. So that's, they definitely showed, and they showed back up. They remembered who they were later in the game.
And they go 20, 20, 20, 20, and 18. That's not a bad 5K stretch for the three-point line and get buckets early. They did that in the first quarter.
Got buckets. Forgot to get stops, though, later in the game. I think that's an important part. We talk offense all the time, but this is why I tell you defense is so important, Bonte.
Defense is important. They held the Cavs, though, to 20 points in the second quarter. The problem was they just scored 11 in the bench points there, helped by Moses Moody with 19 off the bench and J.K. with 18. But this was just a good old-fashioned, you-know-what, butt-kicking by the Cleveland Cavaliers. And they did some things that took the Warriors out of their action. It's their backcourt. Their backcourt gives the Warriors so many issues with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. And they took this matchup personally, the backcourt matchup between Steph Curry, Dennis Schroeder, and, of course, Garland and Mitchell. And those two young fellas out there in Cleveland are hooping. Mitchell's playing like an all-NBA guard, as he fell, and Darius Garland is making a name for himself. Look at Garland's numbers, 25 points, 8 assists in just 28 minutes and 34 seconds. And then you see Donovan Mitchell, who heated up in that third quarter with 15 of his 23. And he also had the 4 dimes and 3 rebounds.
I'm fully convinced that nobody can keep Darius Garland in front of them. He is as quick as they come. And when Donovan Mitchell was struggling, he held this team down. He was scoring, he was hitting shots, he was getting by defenders and making plays for his teammates. Darius Garland is a problem. And then when you add Donovan Mitchell to the mix, it's a blowout for anybody in the league. They have actually only for the last 10 games, actually the last 11 games, they've been 10-1. Of those games, only 2 of them have been within 10 points. So they've been blowing teams out left and right, and that's because both of those guys together are dangerous. And when they do that, when they're getting into the paint and creating shots, they make everybody else so much better. The shooters are more confident because they just get wide open shots because you can't stop Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell.
After watching them tonight, we think about the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Orlando Magic. Where does Cleveland stack up in the Eastern Conference alongside them? Can they get it done in May, June with a small backcourt like this?
Well, if they can get it done in the postseason is yet to be seen. But as you heard Coach Kenny Atkinson for the Cleveland Cavaliers say, this Warriors team, this was finishing school for him. He won a championship here. He got to see the Warriors go all the way to the final. Oh, did he win a championship with the Warriors? He won a championship with the Warriors. Okay, so he got to see the Warriors and what it takes to win. One of the things you see in the improvement with the Cleveland Cavaliers is the shot selection. They're #1 in #3 in assists for a reason. They're able to move the ball. They don't turn the ball over and make sure they don't give extra possessions to the other team. I'm trying to get the numbers in my head right now.
Third fewest turnovers in the league, Cleveland.
Third fewest turnovers. Okay, so they take care of the ball, they share it, and they don't give it to the other team. That is a recipe for success offensively. That's why they're the #1 rated offense. Defensively, they have these 2 big monsters on the backside. When you get by their guards, those guys clean up the glass. They make it really hard for you to finish. So that's a recipe for success in the postseason.
Eastern Conference playoffs are going to be spicy.
Oh, man, I can't wait to see them against Boston, against Milwaukee. It's going to be
about Milwaukee, yeah. In New York with Jalen Brunson.
Are we a Cleveland Cavaliers postgame show now?
No, we're not. I'm just in awe of what we just saw. We know what championships look like. Championship teams. That looks like a championship team.
We got to figure out how we going to make it to the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, to play them, right? Then we got a long way to go, Fezzi Fells. The Warriors are just 500. They had to figure out how to get Steph out of these shooting slumps. Steph Curry, 22, 6 and 6. Saturday night against Phoenix. Well, tonight he didn't have it rolling. The Cleveland Cavaliers limited him to just 6 field goal attempts in the first half. He finished with 11 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 of 14 to just 3 of 11 on the three-point shot. A lot of shots were short. A lot of shots were wide. And you see that he was just frustrated. He couldn't finish around the rim. They put longer active defenders. Look at the communication right there. Cleveland did a job on Steph tonight, Fezzi.
Any daylight that Steph had was taken away, and you saw him trying to get going, trying to get the team back into it. But it is definitely a momentum killer when on one end you're trying to come back, you're cutting the lead down to 15, 16, but on the other hand, they're getting layups. And Steph Curry right now, they made him play on both ends, and the Cleveland Cavaliers definitely won this matchup tonight.
And we're seeing this a little too frequently here. His lowest scoring games of the season. This is the 3rd lowest game. Remember that game in Indiana, 2 of 13, which we touched on briefly in the pregame show. He had the Memphis dub with 2 points, and he was 0 for 5 there. First time in his career where he played at least 15 minutes and didn't make a field goal. You see at Cleveland. Cleveland did a job on him in both games, matter of fact. Combined 23 points in the two matchups against Cleveland. You see Memphis on there twice, so the Warriors are going to have to figure out a way to alleviate some of the burden off of Stephen Curry when he doesn't have it going. Somebody else is going to have to step up or pick up the scoring slack, but teams are starting to figure out a way to limit Curry from doing a lot of damage here.
Think of the Cleveland Cavaliers and what they do. You know, we talk about strength in numbers all the time, but they're doing exactly that. When Donovan Mitchell, who is their X factor, who's their shot maker, when he's struggling, Darius Garland carries the load. The Warriors they don't really have that right now. Jonathan Kuminga is coming into his own, but they need another guard that can create for other guys on the team to get them going for when Steph Curry can come back into the game. Right now, a lot of scoring load on Steph Curry. They're not using his gravity properly. His ability to create shots for others is really being negated because a lot of guys are struggling from the field, and it's really hard to get offense going that way, Bonte.
So as we go into 2025, and they get to flip the calendar, and it's a clean slate. They're at 500. They're 500 here at home. They're 500 overall. What is the state of the Golden State Warriors right now?
Well, we know that the Warriors are 7th-ranked defense in the league, but the offense has been slipping. At the first 15 games of the season, #1 scoring bench in the NBA. Well, that slipped now. Now it still says they're top 5, but the numbers keep declining every game. The bench is still trying to figure out its rotations, its roles, and the starters, it's been different starters every game. We've had 17 or 18 different starting lineups. So for the new season, I think the New Year's resolution would be consistency. I want to see consistent lineups. I want to see consistent rotations. And they got to find a way to start making these other teams pay on the defensive end with Steph Curry's gravity.
So Philadelphia on Thursday. That's a tough team. They're starting to come into their own with Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, and, of course, Paul George, who the Warriors are after. Is there another move they can make to help this team? Is there – because, look, everybody wants a trade to happen, right? But you can't just snap your fingers and make a trade. They bring in Dennis Schroeder. Hasn't worked out so far as he's trying to figure out his role in this offense and figure out his jump shot right now. Is there a move out there that can help the Warriors and catapult them to the top of the West, or do they need to find something in-house here to really improve their roster?
I mean, you look around the league, I don't see a move that can be made in this moment. You know, we talked a lot about Jimmy Butler the first, few weeks where we talked about, well, that could be a trade. Well, as you've seen with Dennis Schroeder, it takes a while to get acclimated to this Warriors offense. So when people are looking outside, looking for a savior to come in, it's still going to take some time to get acclimated. So I say the Warriors have something. They're not playing to the level that they can play at right now. So if you want to know what you have, you got to figure out how you can acclimate Jonathan Kuminga and use him properly, how to get Steph Curry going. He's still a guy who's playing at his apex right now. So there's a lot of things you can do within-house. I haven't seen a move that you can make outside. So right now you got to figure out how to grow the talent you have right now.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Maybe it's Moses Moody. He went 7 of 8 tonight.
Moses
with
Moody,
19 points.
that's another.
Maybe he's next in line to get a shot.
Continue to grow and be better in the middle of the paint. There's a lot of things that the Warriors can be doing better that you can look at.
All right, let's hear from Steve Kerr, the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, as the Warriors get rolled by the Cavaliers.
Well, the ball wasn't going in the hoop, that's for sure. But we have to find a way to develop a better rhythm to create better shots, for sure. I thought we got off to a great start, really good pace, good flow. And then that second quarter, we kind of lost our momentum, and I thought it got down a little bit. And the key stretch of the game was, Mitchell's 3 threes to start the third. We just, I think we scored first, and then I think they scored 12 in a row and broke it open.
How frustrating mentally can it be when you're just missing layup after layup?
Yeah, that was part of it. I thought our guys continued to play hard the rest of the night, but there were just a lot of shots that didn't go that were kind of demoralizing, for sure. And it happens, and we're kind of in a rut right now. We haven't made shots now for a while, so it feels like it should turn, but we have to try to find a way to help develop the rhythm with with passing, with movement, with spacing to generate better shots.
And how difficult just was Cleveland's size and length on the perimeter?
Yeah, they've been a tough matchup for us for the last few years with Mobley and Allen patrolling the paint, and then they've got excellent role players. obviously 2 stars in the backcourt with Mitchell and Garland, but, a whole group of role players who can all dribble and pass and shoot and know how to play. And they've been together now for some years. They kind of remind me of our team, when I first got here, that they've been together now for a while. And the continuity is obvious, and it feels like a team that's really well connected. And there's a reason they're 28-4. They're really good.
Steve, going back to the beginning of the game, what was it that worked so well for you guys? Because the first, half of the first quarter at least, you guys were kind of off and running.
Yeah, it was. We were getting stops. Our defense was great, and we were running. We were throwing the ball ahead. I think we had 8 throwheads in transition in the first quarter, and then that dropped to 3 in the second. And it was kind of a choppy second quarter. I mean, it's not like our defense was bad. We only gave up 20 points. So it just felt like we were missing, little putbacks, layups, and we just couldn't get out of that rut in the second quarter and lost our mojo.
The Cavs don't block a lot of shots. I think they're bottom 10 for blocks. But what does it say about their ability to, I guess, discourage people from coming into the paint and what it can do to a team mentally?
Yeah, they have a good defense. And like I said, they're well connected. I think Dean Wade is really underrated. He was really mucking things up in the paint for us, always in the right spot, coming over and making plays, a couple block shots, and rebounding. And, that guy's a really, really good role player for them and complements the rest of their guys well.
Steve, you've talked about how much you really believe in this group. You guys have had obviously some really high highs and some tough lows. At 16-16, how do you think that reflects on the team overall? I mean, are you guys a 16-16 team, or do you think highly of that team?
Yeah, well, you are what your record says you are. I think Bill Parcells. I think there's a lot of truth to that, and we've obviously fallen, from that early start where we had a lot of momentum and a lot of good flow to our game. And so I know, because I've seen it, the way we started, I know it's in us and I know we can get there. But right now it's a struggle for sure.
All right, Fezzi, close your eyes because these numbers do not look pretty.
Oh, Lord.
They're quite hideous. They may break the screen right in front of you, right in your living room. 33% from the floor, the Warriors shot. 23.7 for the three-point line. They did not rebound, Cleveland, so you got that to hang your hat on, but points off turnovers, fast break points.
Mully's the offense guy, right? Is that why he left? He was like, I don't want to watch.
I think he's back there. We need him back. We need him back in a heartbeat. Mully, under 100 points. What is this, 1995? Come on. Oh, a little rough one here at Chaser. There more on this game. We're going to go around the association coming up on the other side as you see folks heading for the exits. More coming up on Toyota Warriors Postgame Live.
Toyota Warriors Postgame Live.